Hello, this is where we got to in the last video. We had connected our Raspberry Pi Picos to our laptop or computer, and you can see that I've got my micro USB cable already connected. That's going off to my laptop. And in Thonny, we had written a little bit of code which was going to help us to flash, to blink the onboard LED. So this code, hopefully you were able to get running on your own device. If you've had any problems with that, or you've encountered some errors which I didn't discuss in the previous video, then do just drop me an email. When I run the program, you can see that at the bottom here I get this little message saying MPY soft reboot. So that is just rebooting the little Pico, getting it ready to run this code. And then you can see, hopefully, the little LED is just blinking on and off. So the challenge that I set for you guys was to see if you could change the way that this LED was blinking, was flashing. Could you get it to be on more than it was off? Well, whether or not you had a little practice or you just tested some things out, what we can do is we can play with these sleep commands that we've got here. Where we've just put sleep for 1, you might have guessed that that is actually just 1 second. The whole thing goes to sleep for 1 second, and then once it wakes up, it carries on and it does the next line. So I'm going to change this to half a second, and I'm going to see what it does now. Remember, when you change your code, it's really important to press the stop button, then change your code, and then press the play button again to run the new code. You can't change it while the program is running. Here we go, I'm going to run this new code. Now let's see if we can spot the difference. There we go. I think I can just spot it. Can you? We've got a longer flash and then a shorter off period. Let's see if we can speed the whole thing up. How about we make this twice as fast? Pause the video and see if you can make this LED blink twice as fast as it is at the moment. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is, if I want to blink it twice as fast, I'm going to halve my sleep times. So my sleep times are going to be halved, each of them. And there we go. Look at that. You can see the LED is now flashing much more quickly, twice as quickly, in fact. How about then, if I want to do it the other way around, I want the LED to be off for longer than it is on. Pause the video and see if you can make your LED to be off for longer than it is on. Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change these numbers around. I'm going to do the opposites. So now it's going to be on, and I'm going to sleep for 0.25. And then when it's off, I'm going to sleep for 0.5 seconds. Let's run this. Can you picture what's going to happen? If you like, run your own code and see. Here's my version. There we go. You can see that it's definitely off for longer than it is on. So we've got a little flash, almost like a little kind of little charging indicator or something, if you're like charging up batteries, something like that. So the way that you design this little flashing LED, it might be something that you want to just have an LED on to say, yep, my circuit is working and I'm connected and doing things. At the moment, we've just put this in an infinite loop, which is going to go on and on forever. And that's not how we're going to use it when we create our bigger programs. But this is just a sort of test program for you to try it out, to see how to control the hardware. We will come a little bit later on to show you how we can do multiple things at once in our program. For now, though, what we're going to do is we're going to stop this code running. There we go. I'm just going to press the stop button. And now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer this code over to one of the LEDs down in this corner here. So you can see that they've got different, they've all named LED 1, 2, 3 and 4. And this corresponds to the little jumper pins here, LEDs 1, 2, 3 and 4. These little pins we are going to now connect with some wires. So you will have got in your kit some jumper wires that look like this. Now, these jumper wires are made up of various different types of wire. Let me just pull out this one, this jumper, because it jumps from one pin to another. This one has got 2 sockets at the end of it. 2 sockets there, which will fit over the pins that we've got on our breadboard. Some of them, let's take a look at this one here. Oh, they are all connected up together, aren't they? This one here has got pins at the end of it. So those pins are going to fit into our breadboard. So if I want to connect 2 parts of my breadboard together, that's what that wire is going to do for me. And then some of our jumper wires have a pin at one end and a socket at another end. And now I'm throwing them all over the place, so I can't actually find one, but we'll find one later. When you get your jumper wires, you will see that some of them are connected together like this. Now you can keep them together until you need them. And sometimes I might say, if you've got a set of 3 or a set of 4 that are still connected together, actually use that because it's nice and neat. It keeps the wiring quite neat on your circuit here. But what you can do is you can peel these off, and these are just plastic, and you can just peel them off and they will just peel away like that. Okay, so you can separate one from another like that. Okay, so there we go. So I've just now disconnected that yellow wire, so that is now separate. So we don't need the ones with pins at the moment. We're not going to use the breadboard. We need some of these socket to socket cables. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put one of these sockets over the pin which is labelled LED 1. Now to put it on, it might just go on really easily. It might be a little bit stiff, especially to start with. These pins, oops, there we go. These pins do just fit on. You can see they just slide in with a little bit of a sort of click when they are connected. Okay, so have a practice with this. Try not to push too hard. If it's not going, then maybe just take it off and turn it around, or try the other end or something. And try not to be bending them too much. Try not to put too much sort of sideways force on it, because we don't want to bend the pins. Okay, so that is now connected to LED 1. Now, if you know anything about circuits, you'll know that we need to complete a circuit. So we need a full circle, a loop, to make something like an LED switch on. Well, actually, these LEDs have already got a connection to ground, or to the negative side of the battery, if you like, or the power. So these are already grounded. So we don't need to complete the circuit. All we need to do is we need to connect it either to a positive, and if I just connect it up to, at the top here, we've got some 3.3 volt pins. So I could just check the LED is working by connecting it up to that 3.3 volt pin. That is now going straight from the power to the LED. It does actually have a little resistor built in, and it's also, you can see it on the board here. Oh, it's very hard to show you. It's all very tiny, isn't it? Just in here it says R5, R6, R8 and R9. Don't know where R7 is, but those are resistors. The resistors are in there to protect the LED from a short circuit, because the LED itself has very little resistance, so we could very easily blow up an LED if we connected it directly to a battery without any resistance in the circuit. Anyway, we're not going to connect to the power. We're going to come back here. I'm going to plug that back in there. We are going to switch it on and off by using a pin on the Raspberry Pi Pico here. Now I'm going to pick, for now, I'm just going to pick one of the pins near the bottom. I've got pins 16 and 17. Can you see they're right at the bottom here? So they're really easy to spot and make sure that you've got the right one. I just might go up to pin number 17. And it says GP17. There's 16 right at the bottom. And then GP17 in there. So what that means is, and if we come back over to my code, last time, if you remember in the previous video, I was saying that the onboard LED, it was hardwired effectively into a pin that was numbered pin number 25. Well, we're not going to use pin number 25 anymore. We're going to use pin number 17. So if I just change that single thing, nothing else, and I now run this code again, let's see what happens. Can you see? Now this is a red LED, so it is showing up, I think, on the video for you. Brilliant. So now we've transferred that same program, that same pattern of blinking that we had on the onboard LED over to our LED 1 over there. You can see, however, that this LED is still on. This is because when I pressed stop on the code earlier, it just happened to be in its on phase. So when we stop the code, it doesn't necessarily reset everything. So it's really good practice that we would, at the beginning of our code, maybe we would reset things. And actually what we're going to do as we go through, we are going to build up a little reset program. And we'll put it in a new tab here. So I'm going to stop this code for a moment. Look, and that LED has switched on as well. That's very handy. That illustrates my point. So now I'm going to click on this green plus sign. If you hover over it with your mouse, it says new. I'm going to click on this. There we go. A new file, a new space for us to write another bit of code. Now I'm going to come over to what I've done before. I can just click on this tab. And if my cursor is somewhere, anywhere in this window, then if I hold down Control and click the A button, I select all of my code. I'm now going to do Control C to copy it. I'm going to come over to this new one, put my cursor in that white box there, and Control V is going to paste it in. So now I've copied over actually all of the code. But I'm not going to use this while loop. So I'm going to get rid of that. And now, because I've not got a loop, these, I don't want them indented anymore. Can you see they were indented because they were inside the loop? They're not inside a loop anymore. I've just deleted that while true loop. So I need to hold down Shift and press the Tab key. Now the Tab key is the one above caps lock. So have a go at that yourself and see if you can follow these steps. So now this code is just going to happen once. So I could run the code. Let's just run the code and see what happens. So there you can see what happened. Well, we couldn't really see because it came on for a time, but it was on already. So we didn't spot that. It paused and then it switched off and it paused. So we don't want to switch it on because this is going to be our reset program. And I don't need any sleeps in here either because I can just go straight ahead and get rid of those things. So there we go. That is just going to switch off that LED. Why don't I also switch off the onboard LED? Well, now we need to begin to think about what we call each device, each component that we are going to connect to our circuits. They can't all be called green, can they? So if I were to highlight this and put it here and say, right, that first one, that was supposed to be the onboard one. That's not going to work because now I've got two LEDs that both have the name green. Not going to work. Okay, so if I tell it green on, the code would say, well, which one? Both of them? I don't know. I'm confused. Be more accurate, please. So let's call that first one green still. So maybe this next one, maybe I'll call it LED 1 because that's what it's labelled on my breadboard. So if that's the case, then I can do green off and I can do LED 1 off. Now these brackets are really important, the brackets coming after this, because we're calling a function, which is another little bit of code that somebody else has written to make our lives a bit easier. So those brackets are really important. Okay, so now we have this LED one has managed to be switched off, okay, but we've still got this onboard LED. So let's run this code and see what happens. There we go. Now I've switched all of this off. You can see that actually I don't even need this library either. So let's just get rid of that and make this code as short and concise as possible. Now I want to save it because this is going to be quite useful. So I'm going to save it. When I click on save, it should come up as Raspberry Pi Pico as one of the options. If it doesn't, it probably means that in the bottom right hand corner of your Thonny, you are on local Python and not the MicroPython that's connected to your Raspberry Pi Pico. So I can click on here and there's loads of things on this Pico already. So I'm going to call this, let's just call it video because I'm doing the video with you, and I'm going to call it reset.py because it's a Python file. And there it goes. If you forget to put .py at the end, it'll remind you and it'll say, did you mean to call it a Python file? And in which case it'll add the .py ending. So you can just click on yes at that point. There we go. So now the two LEDs that we have used so far, we can now reset them. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you to now have a go yourselves to see if you can connect up the other LEDs. You can either do them one by one and check that they all work correctly, or you can connect all of them up and they're all going to need a separate pin and a different name. So if you're going to do that, what I suggest is you might want to come up to the pins GP21, 20, 19 and 18. There's a little set of 4 pins all right next to each other. They are sandwiched between some ground pins. So the ground pins are the ones which have got the little white background and the letters G and D. Now, like I said, we don't need to ground any of the things on our circuit board here already because they've already got a resistor going to ground, so they are already nicely connected in. But if we put some components on our breadboard here that might need a ground connection, then that's where they can go. We do also have some ground pins up here as well, so there might be other things that we connect in there. So there's not a right or a wrong pin to put them in. It does need to be a GP pin though. So there's a pin in here called run. We don't want to use that one. There's some pins up here called VBus, VSys, and then some 3.3 volt pins and an ADC pin. So we don't want to use those ones. Those are special. Any of the GP pins. GP stands for general purpose. So we can use this for our LEDs. Okay, good luck, have a go. Let's make sure that you can control all of your LEDs. And once you've made sure that they all work, maybe you can design a little program that makes them flash in a nice little fun sequence. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with.